Hello and welcome to Afterlife Topics. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel or becoming a patron at patreon.com/Afterlife Topics. Hey everybody, this is Cyrus and welcome once again to Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics. So this video is a little bit more on the self-help side of things. It's kind of an introduction to my new channel, which is called Cyrus Talks Spirituality. So if you want to tackle more spiritual subjects, self-growth, greater success in many different areas of your life, new and different perspectives that I have to offer besides just the types of things I talk about on this channel, then I encourage you to take a second to give it a quick subscribe, help lift it off the ground a little bit. And in the meantime, I have a video here which is kind of a preview of the types of things that I will be talking about on that channel. The subject is how to find your vitality again in life. And what does that mean? This is something that I think a lot about because I've experienced something which I think many of us do experience, which is when you're younger, and for me it was when I was, a kid on through adolescence and my teenage years. The people around me, the friends and family members I knew were full of life and full of vitality about basically their lives to come. So back in the old days, I didn't have a conventional life at all, so I wasn't in public school, and my friends and connections were limited when I was much younger, when I was maybe 9, 10, 11, 12. But I had a few friends here and there. My brother had a bunch of friends. In fact, I think a couple of you guys actually watch this channel, so hello. And we lived in a ranch way out in the middle of nowhere, but still, it was a fun place to be, and there were always activities going on. For example, sports, hobbies, all types of things. Just to name some things off the top of my head, we'd all have video game competitions. So we'd play the game Warhammer, which basically you paint these miniatures and you have these battles. And some of us became very proficient at painting those miniatures. And my brother would win multiple awards because his came out so good. I believe he had a Space Wolves army to you guys who play Warhammer 40k. And I, of course, played Orcs. So also paintball was a big thing back then. That was a sport that we'd all play. And it was, it took me a while to get good at it. And eventually I was a pretty tough paintball player, but it was a long learning curve for me. Everyone else liked it a lot more than I did, but I still got involved because I really enjoyed the excitement surrounding everyone sharing their paintball war stories at the end of the day. There was remote control cars. My brother was into that quite a bit. A lot of hobbies, a lot of excitement. Having whole evenings of astronomy. So we have a whole astronomy night. So going out and my brother had this ridiculous $8,000 telescope. So the point I'm getting at is that there were all these things that we were doing back then which were exciting, fun, and interesting. And then, as often happens, quote, real life hits. And so it happened in particular with the older kids I knew and my brother and some other people I knew because I tended to be younger than everyone else, and I hit them first. And usually this is around 17, 18, 19 years old. A lot of that fun and excitement just came to a grinding halt, and I still don't fully understand why, but it seems like that's an age period where people start getting traumatized by real life. They end up working some full-time job that they don't really like, or something happens that just sends them in a different direction, and this becomes a trend, and they never quite pick up that vitality and fun and excitement and enjoyment that they used to have. It's as if, this was like trying to pick up water with your bare hands, and you just cannot grasp it. But I was aware of this even when I was quite young, and I could see the fun and exciting days of being young beginning to go away. And I felt very strange about this because I'm thinking, well, why not just keep that going? If these particular hobbies and activities and lifestyles are so much fun and they're so positive, why not make them into a priority? Well, no one else I knew really felt that way except me. So I began to think, well, how do I make that a priority in my life now that I'm going at this alone, because now I don't know anyone who's doing any of those things that I used to do. And that probably is where I first got the idea to become a world traveler, right? So I've probably been to like 45 countries now. This really picked up, though, a little bit when I was a sophomore in college, but much more so in my mid or early to mid 20s. I began taking expeditions to the crazy parts of the planet, saving money to do it, and then being in groups like on Facebook where we were planning our next adventure. This is how I ended up going to North Korea a couple times. Basically, I was thinking to myself, I'm just going to pursue the things in life that create the most excitement for me. I'm not going to fall into this kind of boredom of, I don't know, like whatever it is, like just the, I'm at a loss for words. I guess the humdrum of adult life. But the thing is that the people in life, who are really successful, I'm talking about the Richard Branson types of people, the Elon Musks. The thing is that they're full of vitality, they're full of energy, they're full of all of these exciting things that they love and they're passionate about, and they love doing this with other people. I mean, I think Branson, when you read about how Virgin got started, it was all these different companies. It began as a record store because he loved music. And then eventually it morphed into an airline company, and then it was Virgin Galactic because the guy loves space also. So that's the power of allowing vitality and excitement and energy to drive you in life and not to forget about it because maybe you're in a job you don't like, or there's stressful things in life, or a family member is sick. There's a lot of things that punch holes in our abilities to feel carefree and enjoy life. But what I'm saying to those of you watching is try to find that vitality again. And will it be quite as amazing as when you were a kid? I don't know. But give it a good shot and reconnect to those hobbies. This also relates to the idea of being in touch with your inner child. But I don't know if that's the best terminology, because it's not so much the inner child as it is just being connected to vital energy, being connected to essence, being connected to the things that you love, and balancing that with a responsibility. So maybe you have kids, maybe you have a family, maybe you have bills to pay and all these things. But the thing is, I think the people who are really successful in life, they really do balance those things together. And in the best case scenarios, both aspects fuel each other. So maybe your business, the way you pay your bills, is connected to those things that you love to do. So really what I'm saying is you got to reconnect to those things. Come back down to how you may have felt when you were much younger and reconnect to that. I'll share with you one trick that I use to stay connected. Routinely, I try to practice doing something that I love to do as a kid or as a young adult. And that could be playing some old NES game on my computer, or it could be my early interests in using microscopes and using telescopes and things like that. I was very, very curious about the microscopic world, very curious about the celestial world, and I really love those things. And whenever I can, I will take some time out to reconnect with some of those hobbies and things that I like to do and put myself back into that state of mind, because it wasn't just because I was a kid that everything was more fun and more interesting. It was also just because it's a time when your mind is less polluted by as many stressful thoughts that come along as you get older. So you had this kind of carefree enjoyment. The thing is, you can get back to that carefree state. One way is also to practice a kind of mindfulness meditation. So if you can be engaging yourself in a hobby or something that you're passionate about, something you love to do, and you can focus just on that and not be worrying about all the other things in life or the news or the pandemic or issues with the family or issues with money, and you can just focus on that thing, then you can come back to that way you felt when you were a kid. And you don't have to be a kid again. You can just reconnect to that energy. And it doesn't have anything to do with being a kid. It's just that when some of us were kids, we had access to that because we weren't, I guess, ruined, so to speak. We weren't corrupted by the stresses of the real world. And so we could really enjoy those things. So I actually have total appreciation for adult geeks, people into whether it's video games, cards, whatever it may be. Whether you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever age may be, people who are really into all that stuff still, that to me shows vitality. And I can oftentimes see it in people's eyes and faces, especially people who are quite a bit older. Again, pushing past 65, for example, but they're really into all their hobbies, whether that's motorbiking or whether that's playing board games. I don't know what it might be, but you can tell because they have a little more youthfulness, a little more vitality than anyone else around them for their age. And why not aspire towards something like that? Okay, that's it. So I want to kind of get that off my chest. Hopefully that advice will help you guys out. And if you like these kinds of subjects and ideas, then visit Cyrus Talks Spirituality, my new channel. The link is in the description down below. And while you're here, if you're into what we usually talk about here, which is like life after death and topics like that, then maybe want to check out a book of mine like Understanding Life After Death, the Afterlife and Beyond, or become a patron, patreon.com/afterlife topics to help support my work and my projects like this one. That's it for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.